I'm so excited for today's projects. When I started planning this video, I had one thing in mind and it turned into something completely different, but I'm really excited about it. We are going to be looking at how to make super quick, super easy, one layer cards in just minutes. So let's take a look. So here are the projects we're going to be looking at today, and they all have one thing in common. Do you have any idea what they have in common? It is this stamp set right here. Would you have guessed that? Watercolor Shapes. Now, I had some really fun ideas when I first saw this, but when I started playing with it, I completely fell in love and made a whole bunch of cards. So we're going to go through and look at these. I'll tell you a little bit about how I made them, and then I am going to show you a Christmas card that you can make with these. The thing with these cards is I made all of these in just a little over half an hour, and I was prepping for my video and all of that in that time. So one time of year I know you want quick and easy cards is Christmas, so you can make multiple. So I'll explain how I made these, and then we're going to make a Christmas card that I'll show you how quick it can come together. So first I want to look at the ones that I use the basic designs on. So I'll bring this set back in so you can look at it and pick out the pieces that I used. So first, I'm looking at these shapes, and when you have geometrical shapes, the sky is the limit. You can use them as designs. You can use them to create pictures. So first, I see this little one right here. I'm like, oh, that would be perfect for a brick wall. Here we go. We have a brick wall. I pulled one of my mini messages tags out. If you haven't seen my mini messages video, how you can make hundreds of tags for your cards in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to link you to that here because that is fantastic when you want quick tags. Then I grabbed the bigger rectangle, the little square, made a fun and different pattern with that. The greeting on this one, I'll mention this. This is available for free right now as part of Stampin' Up Celebration. We have free ordering rewards all through the end of September. So definitely take a look at that. Click on the information in the video description below to learn more about that. Now, I said you can create pictures with these. And I looked at the circle, and I was actually going to use this one right here to create a flower, and it turned into this one because I just grabbed the wrong stamp. So we have long skinny petals, but you can do the same thing with this one. And I said you can make quick, easy, one layer cards. This is literally right there on that card base. I made it in probably 2 minutes. Some of these, I took that one layer and mounted it onto a card base, added my tag, but you can do them all on one layer, or you can add your card base and your tag separately if you like. Now, here's where I really get excited about this, is where I start to add in another stamp set, and we get some different effects. So here, this one, I love the greeting. It says, "The changing of leaves reminds us that new wonders are just around the corner." So I use the big rectangle, stamp that 2 times with some pale papaya ink. And then I brought in, this is one of our new sets in the holiday catalog, and used these 2 stamps as well as this with some Cajun Craze and Rich Raspberry ink. And it turned out just beautifully. Now, I purposely did not add any embellishments to these because I want you to see literally how simple they can be, but how pretty. Okay, let's look at a cute little one real quick. Nuts about squirrels. And on this one, I use the circle as the background for these. That's what I love. Instead of having to cut your paper and create an actual mat to put your squirrel or your other element on, you can just stamp it in a very light color of ink on your background, add your other stamps over top, and it saves so much time. So, created this one. The Christmas card we're going to create in just a minute, I did with a similar effect as the squirrel one, so you'll be able to see how to create that circle background in a really light color. Next, this is a beautiful set, Nature's Harvest. I stamped that rectangle, added the cone flower and a couple of small flowers over top, and my greeting, a minute or 2, and I was done with this card. Now these last two, I did step up just a little bit. I actually made these for a card class here a few days ago. And I used these with the sweet ice cream bundle. So I stamped on this one, I used that square turned sideways. And here I used the circle, stamped the popsicles right over top with my different colors of ink. I did punch out the ice cream cone to put on top, added my greeting and the other fun things. But those, the circle and the square from this watercolor shape set really sets off those other elements and makes it quick and easy. Like I said, you don't have to cut those pieces of paper. Now let's get to today's project. So we're going to be creating a Christmas card, like I said, and it is going to be so fast. So I have a piece of 4x5 1/4 white cardstock. I am planning on putting this onto a red card base. So what I have 4 colors of ink here, and I am using stamps. I'm going to use the circle stamp from this watercolor shape set. I am also going to use stamps from this frosted gingerbread set, one of our new sets in the holiday catalog. It's very cute, and I wanted to give you an idea of how to use it. So what I want to do first is grab my, I was going to say the circle for the watercolor shapes, but I take that back. This doesn't happen very often, but I am actually going to stamp my greeting on here first. And the reason is I want to be able to use as much of the rest of the space as possible, but I don't want to crowd my greeting. So now that I have my greeting on there, I want to use this big circle from Watercolor Shapes. I'm using Sahara Sand ink, and I actually want to stamp off. And the reason is that gives me that really faded color in the background. You could use this stamp set with probably just about any color in the background for some other images if you use this stamping off technique. Now, if you don't use the stamping off, you're going to have to stick to really light shades of ink for this to work. Okay, now that I have those together, I am going to add a cute little border that is from the set as well with my red ink, and we'll see if I can line this up straight along the edge. The Stamparatus would be great for this, especially if you are planning on making multiples for Christmas cards. It would be perfect, especially for this big stamp. Okay, now that we have that much, I want to add in the bell, snowflake, and ornament stamps on top of our circles. So one of them is going to get red. I think our ornament is going to get red. We'll stamp that one right here. Next, I am going to pull in green. We'll do green with the bell. And a fun Christmas color combination that I really like. I started using this a couple of years ago and I continue to, is adding in some mint with the snowflake. Okay, now all of my ink pads are very juicy, so as this dries, those colors are going to lighten up just a touch. But look how fast that was. Look how easy it is. It's very cute. Let's go ahead and add it onto our card base. Now, if you wanted to, you could add some embellishments. You could add some ribbon. You can step this up if you want to. You could stamp it just how we did, but pop up your greeting if you want something a little bit extra. But there you can see how fast it is to create cards using this watercolor shape set with your basic shapes in the background. So I'll pull back in these cards. Thanks so much for joining in. I hope this gives you some ideas of how you can make some quick and easy 1-layer cards, or maybe 2-layer if you decide to step it up a little bit. You can find links to the products I use in the description below. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.